Former U.S. President Donald Trump is set to arrive in New York ahead of tomorrow's court hearing. Law enforcement officials say that they have not seen any indications of a disruptive backlash by his supporters. Still, 35,000 New York City police officers are on standby for potential violence. Metal barriers have been erected and roads blocked near the Manhattan Criminal Courthouse. Some courtrooms there will be shut down ahead of Mr. Trump's expected appearance. Mr. Trump was indicted last week over hush money that was paid to former porn star Stormy Daniels. Now, he's expected to plead not guilty to those charges, although the specific charges, they have yet to be announced. His lawyers have vowed to challenge every potential issue and dissect the indictment to get the landmark case thrown out of court. Mr. Trump is the first former or sitting U.S. president to face criminal charges. For more, Nick Harper joins us live. He is in Palm Beach, Florida, right outside Mar-a-Lago. Nick, good to see you. Mr. Trump is set to leave for New York in just a few hours from now. What's the situation like in Florida, though? Because he's got plenty of passionate supporters. Some of them have turned up there and they've been supporting him, defending their man in recent days. What's it like?
Yeah, good morning from Palm Beach, Dawn. It's very quiet so far this morning. I think we're in a bit of a watching and waiting type mode. The Mar-a-Lago estate just behind me a little bit earlier. The lawnmowers were out. It's very much a slow start to the day here in Florida, only 8:30 in the morning local time. In terms of those supporters, there was one out about 30 minutes ago. A second person has just turned up. That one person was shouting his support for Donald Trump. So a very small crowd so far. Over the weekend, there weren't many more, a couple of dozen at most during the course of the day. That swelled to perhaps about 50 one evening over the weekend. People waving flags, shouting slogans, trying to get passing cars to honk their horns. And we certainly heard a lot of that. The people who were down were very passionate about their support for Donald Trump, saying that they very much wanted to be here during the course of the day. We also saw some of his supporters outside his golf course, where he spent some hours on both Saturday and Sunday playing some rounds of golf. But we are expecting more supporters in New York City, because that's where he's heading later today. His plane is on the tarmac. It's ready to fly to New York City. Donald Trump saying overnight on social media, his Truth Social account, that he would be leaving at noon today. So that's 3.5 hours from now, and heading to New York City. It's about a 2.5 hour, 3-hour flight in his private jet. He'll be touching down and then heading to Trump Tower to spend the night. We're told that he will arrive at the courthouse at 11 a.m. on Tuesday morning, ahead of that 2:15 p.m. arraignment. And it's a case that we are expecting supporters of Donald Trump to be gathering around the courthouse. But for now, here in Palm Beach, I guess a quiet start to the day. We'll see how it continues over the next few hours, especially as Donald Trump gets ready to drive from here the 3 miles to the airport.
Let's hope it stays quiet over there, at least for you, Nick. But security is tight, as you say, in New York. But officials aren't expecting another insurrection like what we saw on January the 6th last year.
So far, no. The New York Police Department and the mayor have updated, saying that they have seen no credible threats against the courthouse or any of the court officials in New York City, but they're taking no chances. New York Police Department, they had their officers out throughout the weekend. The FBI, the Secret Service, they're all working in conjunction. The expectation is that they will create something of a ring of steel around the courthouse, shut down some of the major roads in and out of the area. That will cause lots of disruption, but the plan is to try and make all of this safe, because bear in mind, we have never had a former or a sitting president in a courtroom to face charges. It is unprecedented, and they need to ensure that this all runs smoothly. Donald Trump, of course, predicted on social media there would be death and destruction if he were to appear in court. He has urged his supporters to come out. We'll have to see whether that happens. Bear in mind that Manhattan, New York City, is very much a Democratic stronghold. Not many Republican supporters there. And that is why Donald Trump has also written overnight that he does not feel that he will get a fair trial. He's spoken out against the judge, increasing attacks that we saw throughout the weekend, calling him a Trump-hating judge and saying that the venue made it impossible for him to get a fair trial and therefore it had to be changed. That is potentially something that his lawyers may petition the judge for, as well as a potential petition to get this whole thing thrown out when they meet on Tuesday afternoon.
All eyes on this one, Nick. Thank you very much for that. Nick Harper there reporting for us live from Palm Beach in Florida.